there's not really a lot of classes out there on Tanakh with the maps and stuff like that. So hopefully this will be beneficial for ourselves to review. I love it to review for myself and continue over here together with you. So we are learning geography today and also an interesting story today. The next few chapters of the book of Joshua is Joshua dividing the land. So we're learning a lot about a geography. Obviously, it's a very important part of history where Yeshua bequeathed the land of Israel. I see Shuki shaking his head. Yeshua here, who's named after the great Joshua, literally brought the Jews into the land of Israel. So although it's geography and like usually in yeshiva, they just read through it, what I'm trying to do is with some of the maps, with the art scroll map and other maps we have, to try and get a picture. And there's some interesting names that come up in the geography lesson here. So I'm not that good at geography, but trying to make an effort here to see what we can do. So I want to show you, I found something interesting actually here just by Googling, because it's always, when you have some pictures, I want to show you this map. Where do I get it from? Sorry. There was something nice here. Wikipedia, I think, had it. You can see a nice image here of the 12 tribes of Israel. I had it big. You know what? I have it on the WhatsApp thing. Hang on one second, guys. I'm sorry about the advertisements here and everything. But this is some good stuff on here, which we could use just as a reference to it. So here's a little bit of a map, a nice colored picture about how Israel is divided, the 12 tribes are divided throughout the land of Israel. So one thing we're going to start with is the eastern territory, the other side of the Jordan River. So the Dead Sea is down here, and the Jordan River, Kinneret. On the right side, on the eastern side of the Jordan, is the tribe of Gad, and the tribe of Reuven, and then half of Manasseh. So what happened was, if you remember the story we learned in the Chumash, this land was already given to these tribes before Moses passed away, as the book of Joshua starts from right after Moses' passing. But in the Chumash, we learned about these the two tribes, Reuven and Gad, asked Moshe that there's a lot of good land for their many animals that they have. Can we please stay on the eastern side of the Jordan River? And Moses got very actually concerned. Are you going to just allow all the Jews to conquer the rest of Israel themselves? And they said, no, we're going to go help. And the commentaries actually explain that now it officially becomes theirs. And that's why in our Navi, in today's class, we're learning about the land that they get. Why? What's the connection to now? They already got it in the times of Moshe. Why is it repeated now? Because they really didn't get it until they helped the rest of the Jewish people conquer the land on the western side of the Jordan River. So we're going to go over the exact details and the location and the area, the geography of where Reuven, Gad, and Manasseh got their land on the eastern side of the Jordan River now again, as the rest of the tribes are getting it, because it officially becomes theirs only once they help the Jews conquer the rest of the land of Israel. So we're going to see some fascinating stuff in that regards in our Chumash. We're holding, I believe it's chapter 13 in the Navi. Okay. We're holding chapter 13 and we're holding verse 7 from where we left off last time. So chapter 13, verse 7, we're going to learn, as we do in our Chumash class, the text together with Rashi, and then we will see it inside. Let me go to, we're going to split it up in two parts, okay? We're going to split it up in as a general overview. All the 12 tribes got the eastern side. The Chumash, the first part of the Navi, is going to say for the next few verses, describe the general geography that all 2.5 tribes got on the eastern side of the Jordan River. And then we'll get into detail and explain to you exactly how it was divided up between Reuven, Gad, and Manasseh. I'm going to actually show you one more map, which I worked on a little bit. Over here, you can see it. This is, as you see on the left-hand side, I'm pointing to it. This is the Dead Sea and the Jordan River. Now, the Reuven, you see all these dots are a lot of the names we're going to see in today's class. Well, there's the general whole eastern section that the 3 tribes got, and then we're going to break it down for you where exactly Reuven got, where Gad got, and this whole section that Manasseh, half of the tribe of Joseph, got. So it's going to be, again, a geography lesson, the first part of our class. We're going to first give you the whole overview, and then we're going to read it inside. I'm going to start reading the cities, and then I'm going to show you inside. So join me as we do this next part. First, it'll be text, and then we'll move on to the geography part of it. Okay. Va'ata, verse 7. And now, Chalek es haaretz hazois. divide up this land, benachla as an inheritance, the main part of Israel, the eastern side, the Tishas Hashvatim, the Chati Shevet Menashe for 9 of the remaining tribes, and the half of a tribe of Menashe. Okay, so the 9.5 tribes divided up between them. Imoy, and who should be on the eastern side of the Jordan River? Okay, the 2.5 tribes who got on the eastern side of the Jordan River. Imoy HaRuvaini, V'Hagadi, Ruvain and Gad, those were the 2 tribes who asked Moshe for land. Lakchu nachlasam shernasan la Moshe, they took already their portion on the eastern side. Be'ever hayarden mizrach, on the eastern other side of the Jordan River. Kasher nasan lahem Moshe eved Hashem, as Moshe, the servant of Hashem, servant of God, already gave to these 2.5 tribes, Reuven, Gad, and they also another half of Menashe got that huge swath of land together with them. And now he's going to describe, and I'm going to just read the words, and then I'll go over it with you in the map, and you'll see it inside. It's not going to make so much sense again from the text, but when I go back to the geography, it'll make sense. Ma'aroyer asher al sfas nachal Arnon, from a city called Aroyer, that's on the border of the famous river, which I'm going to show you, which is often referred to as the Nachal Arnon, the Arnon River. Ba'ir asher b'tocha nachal, in the city that went within that river, Chol HaMishar, and the whole plains, Meidva Adivon, from a city called Meidva until a city called Divon. So Rashi explains to us what's the setup in this chapter, that in the book of Joshua, it's first telling us the entire eastern swath of land, and then it's going to break it up for us so you know what is the details about each tribe, what they got. And that whole swath of land included the area of the famous king of Sichon, who was Melech HaAmori, who was the king of the Amorites. Asher Malach B'Khashbong, that was king in the famous city. There was a very strong city. We learned in the city, included the city of Khashbong, Ad Gvul B'nei Ammon, until the border of the Ammonites, which they didn't conquer. They didn't conquer the Ammonites, at least not half of their country. They didn't conquer. Ba'Gilad, Gvul Hagushri V'Amachati, and the area called Gilad, which we'll see in the map, Gvul Hagushri V'Amachati, and there was a group called the Gushrite and the Machite, which they didn't conquer, actually. They left them to live in their midst. I'm going to show you in the map. Chol Har Hermon, all the way to the north, to the Mount Hermon, Chol Bashan, and the whole area of that whole swath of land to the north and the eastern side called Bashan, Atsulka, Kol Mamlachis Oig Melech HaBashan, Oig Babashan, the whole kingdom of the giant Og, who Moses killed, Shamalach Bashtaros, who was king in the city of Ashtaros, of Edrei, who Nishir Meyeser Rafaim, and he tells us something very interesting about this guy Og, who remained from the giants of Edrei. Who are the giants of Edrei? Who Nishar Mayasar Raphaim, who remained from the Raphaim, Vayakam Moshe V'Yorisha, Moshe smit these giants and he inherited their land. I wanted to stop for a minute to tell you about whose land. I'm going to show you in the geography in a moment, but who was this giants of Raphaim? If you remember, Rashi says, a very long time ago in Parshas Lech Lecha, on the 3rd portion of the Torah, it tells us about Abraham. Abraham had a nephew, Lot, who was captured. If you remember his Lot nephew was captured. And Avram went to save his Lot, risked his life to save his nephew Lot. There were 4 kings that attacked the 5 kings. Who were those 4 kings? One of the groups of the 4 against 5 kings that captured Lot and the 5 kings, they were called Rephaim. Avram went and waged war against those giants, those powerful people, and saved Lot from them. And here we are many years later in the times of Moshe, where Moshe will conquer that land from them and give that to the Jewish people. Again, in geography in a moment, I'll show you inside. However, there were 2 swaths of land, which I'll show you in the map, the Gushrite and the Machite, that they did not inherit the Jews. There was like a certain area in the middle of where the Jews lived on the eastern side of the Jordan River, that section they left, they actually didn't capture it. But Yeshiv, Geshur, and Machas, and forever till this day, those 2 tribes, Geshur and Machas, are still living within the tribes of the Jewish people on the eastern side of the Jordan River. However, there's one group that did not get any inheritance, not on the southern side, and not on the eastern side, and not on the western side. The tribe of Levi, the fire of Hashem Yisrael, Hunach Lasik Shadibra Hashem, their job is to take care of the altar and the fire of Hashem and to be the teachers among the Jewish people, and they do not get any land. So in other words, cut out Levi, we're down to 11 tribes. But then you double Joseph's tribe, Manasseh and Ephraim, and now you have 12 tribes, not including Levi. We'll see later on in today's lesson where exactly Levi would live. If Levi's not getting any land, where is the Levites going to live? And now let's move on to our map, and I will show you the different cities that we spoke about. So he's describing first the whole eastern swath of land. So a lot of the areas we said was Aroer. We said Aroer was by the Arnon River. So you see the Arnon River right by the Dead Sea. I don't know if there's probably not a river there today, but at least in those days there was a river. There was an Arnon River over there. Maybe there's a river today. I don't think, I don't know. The Arnon River coming out, that is the city of Aroer by the Arnon River is part of that description over here. Then we went to Medva, okay? That's included. And then we went to, I numbered the things over here. Let me just see in my Chumash, and it will help you. And then Divon is what he mentioned. Okay, so this whole area, I'm going to actually look at my Chumash and point out the different areas. Give me 1 second here, as we read it in the Chumash. Hold on. Until Divon, right? Then he described until Divon, which is right over here. I know the map's not so clear. Until the border of Ammon. See the Ammonites. You can see on this, on the right side of the map, the Ammonites. They did not conquer the whole section of the Ammonites. So just, if I remember correctly, I'll share with you something just from memory. We learned in the Chumash class that God made it that Sichon, who's right over here where I'm pointing to, conquered land from the Ammonites. And then the Jews conquered it from Sichon. So the Jews were not allowed to conquer land from the Ammonites, right? Ammon and Moabites, if you remember also, we learned that they were children of Lot. I just told you the story of Avram and Lot. After Avram saved Lot, Lot went to live in the city of Stone. Stone was destroyed. And when he left, he fathered with his daughters 2 children, and Avram ran away because people were saying what incest and took place over there. So when the Jews came, they were not allowed to conquer land from Ammon and Moab. So how did they get this whole land over here? Because first God made it that Sichon will conquer a section of the Ammonite land, and the Jews will then be allowed to conquer it from Sichon. The bottom line is, we have this whole area being described over here of Gilad. It seems like to see number 5 here in the map, Mount Gilad. It seems like there's a huge Gilad section. This whole area, there was a big swath there called Gilad, and in that section, that was included in this eastern side of the Jewish people. And then there was the Grushi and the Machati. I wrote here, I looked up, it doesn't have in the map here, but the Gushrite and the Machite right here in the middle, right in the center, is where 2 other countries lived that the Jews also did not conquer their land, and they allowed them to remain over there. B'chol Har Hermon, everyone knows Mount Hermon, all the way to the north, right over here. B'chol Bashan, at Sachla, and the whole Bashan until Sachla, another 2 areas, maybe we could find it here. I numbered it as number 8 and 9. But the Bashan, here, right here, Bashan, King Og, with this whole section is called Bashan. That's number 8. And then Sachla, an area called Sachla. Also, that whole section is given over to the eastern side of the here, right here, Sachla, on the right map. You can see it over here, Sachla. I'm pointing to it. That whole section is given to the Jewish people. The whole section of the giant Og, the king of Bashan, this whole section that he oversaw. Right here is Ashtaros, and here's Edrei, all those cities. And we said that it was left over from the giants that Abraham originally attacked to save his nephew Lot. We said that they were not allowed to conquer the Gushrite land. They had to remain. The Gushrite and the Machite who lived in this section. And they lived among the Jewish people until this day. So there you go. You have the general map overview of the area called, of this area of where the Jews live. Now he's going to break it down for you as we're going to continue in our lesson as he breaks down each tribe on its own. And then I'll show you each one in its map. Again, pretty straightforward. Just watch the geography, the map, and you'll get a clarity in a lot of these areas. But first I'm going to read the text inside where Reuben got. Moshe gave to the tribe of Reuben and to their family. Moshe gave to Reuben and to their family. And the border was, again, the southern border, which we already mentioned, because they lived to all the way to the south, which was the whole swath of land. From that city of Aroyer, that's by the Arnon River, which I showed you before. And the city that included the city that was inside the river, Medva, and the whole area of Mishra to Meidva, which is on the southern territory of where the Jews got that whole section. And then Khashbong, the famous city of Khashbong, which is a very strong city, Chalareha, and all its cities around it, Shabbat Mishra, that's in the plains over there. Divon, Uvamais, Bamaispal, Ubais, and a place called Balmon, Yatza, another place called Yatza, Kedmais, and Kedmais, Umeifas, Kiryasayim, Vesivma, Vitzeres, Hashachar, Bahar Emek, and Uveis Pa'ar, a place called Beis Pa'ar, Va'ashto, Yisapiska, and Ashtos of the Pisca, Ubeis Shimois, Chol area Misha, and all the plain lands. They got the whole section of the king of Sichon. The king Sichon was the king of the Amorites. Shamalach Becheshbon was king in that famous city of Khashbon. Sharika Moshe, that Moshe smit them, destroyed them. Oiseves Nisi Midian, together with the leaders of Midian. Remember the story of Midian, where they were trying to get the Jews to sin. The Midianite women went and cohabited with the men, and they wanted them to serve idols. And Moshe destroyed them. And Esevi, Vesrekim, Vestur, Veschur, Vesrev, all these cities, Nische, who were the dukes and the generals of Sichon in the country of Sichon, of the king of Sichon, Yoishve Haaretz, who lived there. And also we know who else did Moshe kill, the famous person in that section, Ves Bilam ben Ba'ar, the prophet Bilam ben Ba'ar, who tried to curse the Jewish people, Akoisem, who was a soothsayer, who was a magician. Hargu b'nei Yisrael b'cherevas chalei, and the Jewish people in that section killed their bodies. They were slain by the Jewish people. And Vayhigvul b'nei Ruvain, and the border of Ruvain was Hayardin. The Jordan also was the western side of the border. And that border was the section of Ruvain for their family, the cities and the villages that belong to them. Now, I'm just going to go through this in the map, and you will see everything we just spoke about quickly. For those that are looking, I'm going to mention again, just go run through it, the different sections over here. So he said from Aroer, which is here, this keep on mentioning the city Aroer, who by this Arnon River, again, we keep on mentioning the Arnon River, okay? And then we said it went till Meidva, which is right over here. And then we spoke about Khashbon. We said there was this famous city of Khashbon right over here. That was a city where the king over there of Khashbon, Sichon the Amorite, I'm pointing to it now on the other side of the map, was the king of Khashbon, who was the king of Khashbon, that was like his capital's big city over there. And Divon, and we mentioned also that this Ruvain's tribe went along Divon. See that this is their whole section right over here. This whole section over here belonged to the tribe of Ruvain. And then Kiryasayim, he mentions another area called Kiryasayim. Where's Kiryasayim here? Where is it? Number 15, right here. Kiryasayim is right over here. I'm pointing to it now. And what else? And that's it. That's the general area of Ruvain, what Ruvain got. Now let's go to God. We're going to work on the next section of God. Whoops, sorry about that. We're going to work on the next section of God, which is going to be over here. See, God got this whole swath of land kind of cutting in to the Ammonites' territory over there. Let's go to our Navi, the verses, and then we'll come back to here. So we're holding verse 24 as it discusses what he got. God. Moshe gave also to the tribe of God, the second tribe over there, to their family. And their border was a place called Yazer, and all the cities of the Gilad. I show you the Gilad mountain. There was a whole section there, like a county called Gilad, and half the land of Ammon, right? Where Sichon conquered of the area of Ammon, they took that half a section of Ammon. I'll show you in the map, Ad Aroyer, until a city called Aroyer, Asher al Pnei Rabbah, that is near a place called Rabbah. And I'll show you where that is inside the map in a minute. Khashbon, and from the famous city of Khashbon, which we keep on mentioning, Ad Ramas HaMitzpah, till a place called Ramas HaMitzpah, Uvoitnim, Mimachanayim, Ad Gvul Lidvir, until the border of a place called Dvir. Uve'emek, Beis Haram, Uveis Nimra, the Sukkos, a place called Sukkos, Vitzafa and Yeser, Mamluchai Sichir, Melech Khashbon, and the Tzafos and the rest of the kingdom of the king of Sichon, the king of Khashbon. They got the whole north side of Sichon's kingdom. So the Ruvain got the south side, they got the north side. They went until the Kinneret border. On their western side, Evra Yardi Mizracha, on the western side, on the eastern side of the Jordan River, they got till the western, their western border, which was the Jordan River. Snachlas Bnei Gad, this is the city of Bnei Gad, the Mishpachaisam, Ha'ardim, Chatzeres, to their families. They had the walled cities, and then they had open cities. They got that whole section. Now, inside the map, let's try to do it together inside, right? So they're going to get this whole section over here is what they're going to get it. I'm going to point out, I'm going to read the names, and I'm going to try to point it out to you. So we said a place called Yazer. Okay, Yazer is right over here, Jazer. Even if you look on the other map that we had, you'll see Yazer on this big map. I think, where's that picture that we had? Oh no, it's over here. You'll see, even, I want to show you, even in the map that they have on Wikipedia, I don't know if it's actually not so clear here, but also, I believe, right there, Jazer. Yazer is right over there in the color map. That is what we're talking about in our lesson. Now that's what we're mentioning. Oh, let me go back to here. Okay, so they have Yazer, right? I just pointed out, where's it? Jazer, Yazer right over there. That's where God is getting. And they get the whole area of Gilad. I told you there was a whole swath here called Gilad. This is called Mount Gilad. You see it right over here. And they got half of the land of Ammon. You see, the Ammonites were here. And their land was like, God, I guess, got cut off and got half of the land. Ammonites are here, and they're getting half of the land of the Ammonites. And then until the city of Aroyer, which is near a place called Rabbah. You could see Rabbah right over here, mentioning that city that's over here in Rabbah. And they're getting until Dvir. Dvir is, where is Dvir? I had a number here, it's 20. Let me see if I can find it. Until a place called Dvir. They're also getting that section. And Beis Haram, they're getting Beis Haram. Sorry, guys, let me see if I can find it for you here. Here. I'm not sure. Okay, let's keep on going. And Nimra and Sukkos and Tzafain. Okay, all these areas, Nimra, Sukkos, and Tzafain, also getting that area in this. Here, I think this is Haram. I guess, oh, here, Sukkos. So I guess according to this map, their swath actually went up a little bit. You see the way there's like a debate among the commentaries here. But here's Sukkos, and here's Dvir, went all the way up to north to Dvir, the tribe of God got to Lear. And here's Haram that we just mentioned. And that is the whole section until the Kinneret, which is right over here. They got all the way here, and that was the border of the tribe of God. So I'm going to just go with my with my mouse here. They got this whole section, the tribe of God. And here's the tribe of Rubin. We said so far got the bottom southern section. Again, this is complicated, and there's debates among the commentaries exactly where is what, but these are just what some of the commentaries say, doing our best here to share some of these ideas with you. And their border went from a place called, I'm sorry, we're holding Menashe now, verse 29. Moshe added in half a tribe of, Joshua added in a half a tribe of Menashe. Moshe gave to half the tribe of Menashe, to the families of half the tribe. They got also property on the eastern side of the Jordan River, and their border went from a place called Machanayim, the whole Bashan, the whole country of the king of the giant Og, who was the king of that section, Bashan, Shishim Ir. There were 60 cities in that section. And he gave them also of the section, we keep on mentioning Gilad, he gave them the section of Gilad, where we saw on the map Mount Gilad, Vashtaris, in a place called Ashtarish, Vedrei, Bashan, all these cities of the giant Og in that whole country of Bashan. With Bnei Machir, they gave it to half of Menashe's family, to the children of Machir, who was a son of Menashe. So Menashe had a son Machir, his children got that whole section. L'chatzi Bnei Machir, to half of the families of Bnei Machir, of Menashe's family, got that east section on the eastern side too. These are the ones that Moses inherited in the plains of Moab. What is the story of the plains of Moab, in that country of Moab, Me'ever Li'ardi, on the other side of the Jordan, Mizrach on the eastern side, L'Shevet Levi, and again, but to the tribe of Levi, Moshe did not give any land. God is their land, God is their inheritance, as he spoke to them. Going through our map real quick, we'll go through the section that we just mentioned, in this whole section of where Menashe, half of the tribe of Menashe, will get. Let's see if I can bring it out to you. So we mentioned Gilad. So I told you, first, starting here, this is Mount Gilad. I guess there was a section here called Gilad. And he had a section here called Edrei. See right here, we mentioned Edrei. And we also mentioned these different cities here, Ashtaros, and Salcha. Okay, we keep on mentioning Bashan because King Og ruled this whole section called Bashan. And that is the area where you see in the map where the tribe of half of Menashe got. So we are, Baruch Hashem, moving along today, and we covered 2.5 tribes of which they will get. We need to go through the rest. But before we do that, we're going to learn one more. Hope that's okay. We want to learn. I prepared one more chapter of